Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Oh, it's a hearty good morning on this Football Friday. Before we get to the Super Bowl, man, I'm jacked up. We got so many great things to come on this show today. Welcome to the JP Peterson Show. If you're listening on 102.5 HD2, that's awesome. We're back live on the radio. Or if you're watching on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or however you're digesting the show, maybe on a podcast. We love our podcast people. Thank you very much for checking in with us. Nick Geddes from On3 Sports is here this morning. Definitely going to take advantage of your expertise in the wrestling squared circle or whatever it is that you called that thing now that they do. I'm even all in, bro. I saw The Rock on Pat McAfee yesterday, calling out all the Cody crybabies. We got the audio. I'm hooked. You got me in finally. Good morning. What's going on?
Good morning. It's about damn time that JP Peterson has got. There's a wrestling angle that has hooked you after all these years, and it has a connection to The Rock and, of course, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
That's what I needed, I guess, right? To go back.
That's all
to
you
Dusty
needed.
Rhodes, the American Dream with the pie on it.
Right.
Elbow.
And you remember Rocky Johnson, right? Because he used to tag team with Dusty Rhodes.
Yes.
Now we got their kids going after each other.
This is
what
too
you
good,
needed,
man. This is what I needed. Finally, I get a plot line that I can dig and I can get into. It's infected the whole house here, much like COVID or whatever the hell we got going on around here. The kids were even going back to watch Moana because they saw Rock on TV, and I'm like, one of the greatest show tunes of all time. You're welcome that Rock did in Moana. That's one of the greatest songs ever. So it's just now we got everybody into it. It's all entertainment. So we got and it's great that the WWE and the NFL are merging in Vegas because now the NFL has taken up their business model of scripting their season. My goodness. We've got the chosen one in Pat Mahomes. Since Tom Brady's now retired, he's now the chosen one with Mr. Pfizer. We got to include Big Pharma and Taylor. So we got that whole thing written into it. And now versus Mr. Irrelevant, right? And the big bad 49ers as the villain. So I like that. They've, the script writers have done well. I think, you think they're cross promoting now, the NFL and WWE and their scripting? Is that what's coming next? Is The Rock going to jump down on the field or something? Like at halftime, they're going to invade the Usher show with The Rock and Cody going at it.
Hey,
that could be good.
I mean, the last time these two teams played each other in the Super Bowl, if you recall in Miami, remember they had the whole show before where The Rock came out and did that whole he did something, he did a shtick or whatever with the mic and everything.
Right. That's right.
The president has already been set 5 years ago.
Boom, boom, and he's been all over Vegas, so he's going to be part of the Super Bowl. That's great. That's good. Now the NFL and the WWE have merged. And they're commingling their plot lines. This is fantastic. This is great. I love it. I mean, what more could you ask for? What more could you ask for?
I do though. I mean, Las Vegas this week. I have to be honest. We're watching it from afar, and I know you were at Super Bowl Radio Row. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, at LA. Yeah.
And it feels like the star power that's in Las Vegas right now.
Crazy.
How is that city still standing?
Yeah.
It feels like everybody who's a who's who in entertainment, sports, they're all in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't want to go through all the hassle of doing it this year because the hotels were just ridiculously expensive. Right. Everything you do, you walk outside, they're going to charge you $50 to breathe the air in Vegas. So I'm like, don't want to go for all that. But it does I'm kind of enjoying it from afar. This is great. It's enjoying it without having to go through all the hassle and security of doing all the crap. So, which is why we have Lee DeCamper was out there all week for Joe Buck's fam. So he's going to join us at 10:30. Corey Long has been out there for Walter Football or whoever he's writing for, but he was out there. He posted some stuff from the Sphere. He went to see U2 at the Sphere. So I want to get all that info from him as well. So they'll give us kind of a little flavor of what's going on. But of course, Baker Mayfield's been all over the place.
Rounds, man.
He was on Jim Rome yesterday. Well, he had some interesting things to say, which we're going to play here in just a second. I watched the whole interview, and I just do not get the sense that, he's, got one foot out the door. There's been a lot of chatter about him going to the Falcons. I don't see it. I think the Falcons are zeroed in on Justin Fields. And I think they're using Baker as kind of some leverage in that way. So yeah, I don't think, but we'll listen to him. We'll hear what his tone. He got screwed last night for comeback player of the year. If he loses to DeMar Hamlin, I get it. I mean, just because everybody thinks it's a medical award, not a football award. How the hell does he lose to a guy that played 5 games? 5 games. How do you lose? You played a whole season, a first place schedule, and won your division with a first time play caller and a team you've never played with before. You were thrown on the scrap heap last year by Carolina. That's worse than death. Can I say that? I mean, well, they got his heart beating again, so it turned out well.
I don't want to make jokes.
That's
of it
football death.
If
you're released by Carolina, that is football death, and this is a football award.
Well, I think we have two different things going on here. Like the NFL sort of combines comeback player of the year with like most improved player of the year. Like they seem to be like they're all one award, and both those things mean two different things.
I would agree.
Like if you did most improved player, I think Baker Mayfield would be in the running for that award. You could say he's in the running for comeback player of the award too, but my thing with last night, if DeMar Hamlin didn't win, it's like, how do you go to Joe Flacco? Like, why was it? And you looked at the voting, it was a 2-man race. It was Joe Flacco and DeMar Hamlin. Like Baker Mayfield was the bronze medal.
Yeah. And
he wasn't really close to either of those guys. DeMar Hamlin also got like 8 more first place votes, but that didn't seem to matter. There was some kind of weird voting system that they changed, I guess, and Flacco ended up having more overall votes. I don't know.
And he played in, like, DeMar played in 5 games.
Listen, if they gave it to DeMar Hamlin, I wouldn't have had a problem with it because, again, like, that's a real life situation and everything, obviously.
Right.
But my hang up is, why was it Joe Flacco
that makes
who got
zero sense
all
to
the
me.
buzz over a Baker Mayfield? Because like you said, Baker played a full season. He signed for $4 million and then some incentives. Everybody that was in that room and everybody that votes for these awards, probably not named Greg Allman because he's one of the award voters, by the way.
Yeah, I saw the whole list and I'm like,
yeah, Ira Kaufman and Greg Allman are representing, our area, obviously, in that
these
award
people
voting.
are better than that.
Yeah, but all those. My point was, all those people had the Bucs as a last place team and everything, and Baker exceeded all those expectations.
Yeah,
I mean, and I'm not trying to diminish what Flacco did. The Joe Flacco resurgence for those 5 games was one of the most out of left field things I have ever seen. Okay, so I'm not trying to like diminish what Flacco did, but like, let's not act like he played at like an all-pro level. Like they went 4-1, but like he played 5 games, he threw 8 interceptions.
Yeah,
like. Baker still had better numbers than him.
Yes.
Even though he played 16 games, so of course, or 17, of course he's going to have
better
numbers.
Which you have to play through a whole season and stay healthy.
Yeah, he played through the whole season. He won the division. I know the playoffs don't matter in these voting, but he did win a playoff game. That's the part that just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, zero sense. I mean, who cares if you win the comeback player of the year award? But if we're going to have awards, like, shouldn't the people voting for him, like, have a clue? Like, that just made no sense whatsoever. Of the other awards last night, I don't know. I didn't have a problem with any of them. Lamar wins MVP, but was the first quarterback to win an MVP without being in the top 10 in touchdown passes or yards, which is a little bizarre. I mean, it was almost like this was bequeathed to him. His numbers were, his overall QBR wasn't as good as many other quarterbacks. And I know it's not just numbers. I'm not having a huge problem with it, to be honest with you. By total QBR, he was 7th. He was 7th in the league, and that's the ESPN QBR. Baker was, by comparison, 10th. Brock Purdy was 5th. Mahomes was 1st. C.J. Stroud, Josh Allen, Jordan Love. So Lamar's quarterback rating was 7th, but he's the MVP.
His numbers are never going to be like of the top because of the way Baltimore runs their offense, obviously.
Right.
But if you're looking at the word, and this is where I think there needs to be more of an emphasis on the word valuable, more than just the numbers award.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, if we're going off numbers, I mean, Dak
Right.
Prescott, hell, had a great case, and he actually came in second for the MVP award. Purdy, same thing, but most valuable. Where are the Ravens at without Lamar Jackson?
They're
his
nothing.
top running back
They're
goes down
nothing.
with an injury in week 1. Odell Beckham was a no-show for most of the season. Mark Andrews got hurt, and they went 14-3.
Yeah.
And it really was Lamar's heroics that got them to that point. So I do think he was the most valuable player because there wasn't really another slam dunk option. To be honest,
there really
this year.
wasn't. I didn't have a huge problem with it, but it's interesting to note. Just because the way, and I said this weeks ago, the way he wins games, the dude just makes plays to win games. It's not all about passing. With his legs, he makes critical plays to win games. I just have a bad taste in my mouth since the playoffs, where I thought he was, I picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl this year. I expected him to play well in the playoffs, and he crapped the bed. He killed me, and he cost me money. So I'm a little jaded.
That's where
he's the MVP.
That's all you need to say. He cost you money, and now you
he's
have
the
a
MVP.
personal vendetta. There you go.
Of course, you're right, 100%. But he wins the MVP.
Listen, I'm still upset that Brady threw for like 5,300 yards and 45 touchdowns in 2021 and didn't win the MVP over Aaron Rodgers. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, that was total BS. Hall of Fame class for 2024 was announced yesterday. Julius Peppers goes in, absolutely dominant player, one of the most incredible physical specimens I've ever seen. Actually saw him play in college, just unbelievable. Defensive end Dwight Freeney gets in, a no-brainer, one of the greatest pass rushers of all time, and not a super big guy, by the way. One of those great Derek Brooks types where he was just a great, great football player and beat you with effort and technique and passion and smarts. Tremendous. Patrick Willis, maybe the best tackling linebacker I've ever seen. That dude never missed a tackle, and when he came correct and mean. What a freaking football player Patrick Willis was. Devin Hester, record holder for kickoff and punt returns for touchdowns, finally gets in. You can debate whether a punt returner should be in, because we've diminished that so much in the game, which I don't like. I think it's one of the most exciting plays in the game. So I'm okay with Devin Hester because he was the best of the best, no question. Although I think if I said the best returner I've ever seen, Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Whenever he touched the ball, he was going the threat to score. But we'll give it to Devin Hester. Andre Johnson, one of the most prolific wide receivers in the history of the game. I know he's one of those kind of tweeners to me. You look at the numbers and it's a no-brainer that he's in, right? But I watched him play his entire career from Miami. Do I think he's one of the greatest receivers I've ever seen? No.
Well,
no.
I do think Andre Johnson deserved to be in, especially you look at context matters. This guy played with like 10 different quarterbacks in Houston, the best one being Matt Schaub. So it's amazing.
True.
It's amazing what to the numbers he put up, and he's also like one of 3 receivers I think in the modern NFL history, and this is crazy, to lead the league in receiving in back-to-back years. Like he's only the third. He was only like one of 3 guys to do it, and he also had the All-Pro. So I have no problem with that. I'll tell you where my 2 problems with the Hall of Fame is, and again, all these guys are deserving. Devin Hester is deserving, but if you're going to look me in the eye and tell me that Devin Hester is getting in the Hall of Fame over Antonio Gates, I think you're out of your mind. Antonio Gates is one of the best tight ends of all time.
Agreed.
And I'm perplexed as to how he was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he's top 5 in top 3 in like every metric when it comes to tight end and when it comes to tight end numbers. So I don't get that one. And as much as I just said all those things about Andre Johnson, him going in before a guy like Torrey Holt, who's been on that ballot for a long time, is also very perplexing to me. I don't understand why Torrey Holt doesn't get more of a groundswell to get in the Hall of Fame. Go look at his numbers again. I mean, 8 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, 6 of them, by the way, 1,300 yards or more. Elite production, Super Bowl. Isaac Bruce is in. Why is Torrey Holt not in? Don't get that. And then the Dwight Freeney one, obviously deserving, but this is the part that I don't understand, and I actually did some comparing of some other players who don't get any love for the Hall of Fame. Remember John Abraham, JP?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Dominant for the
most
Falcons.
Incredible athletes to ever play the game. Yeah.
Correct. If you compare his numbers to Dwight Freeney, okay, and he played like 30 games less than Dwight Freeney, mind you.
Huh.
He's got more sacks. He's got more tackles, the same amount of forced fumbles, and more fumble recoveries. And Dwight Freeney goes in ahead of him.
Huh.
And where's John Abraham? John Abraham's never mentioned in Hall of Fame talks. And usually this stuff comes down to numbers. So why is, again, Dwight Freeney, great player and everything, Hall of Famer, but John Abraham gets no love. And then the other one that I'm always going to bang the drum for here in Tampa is Simeon Rice, who has just like disappeared from the ballot altogether.
Yeah,
compare his numbers to Dwight Freeney. He's right there. So it's just kind of little inconsistencies. And again, I'm nitpicking here.
Yeah.
That I see with the Hall of Fame, but I understand it's really hard to get into. They only pick 5 guys, but it's just my 2 cents.
The deal is, especially with football, because numbers, when you get, you get to this point 5 years, 10 years, 15 years after they played, you can only really go back and look at numbers, right? Because what are you going to go back and look at all their tape? I saw these guys play. I covered these guys. I know who they are. Like I watched them play, and I get a feel like I can give you a real life feel for like, okay, you're playing against Dwight Freeney today. That's going to be a problem. Okay. He's a dominant player. You're playing against Patrick Willis today. That's going to be a problem. He's going to get 20 tackles today. You've got to figure out a way to block him or you'd have no run game. Right. I mean, they were just game changers. And I remember that about Dwight Freeney. I remember that about Julius Peppers. And you played against the Panthers. Julius Peppers was going to affect the game in a major way almost every single time. And that's how I kind of, I look at a player for the Hall of Fame. When I look at Andre Johnson, when, you played against Andre Johnson, you're like, oh, yeah, he could probably put up some numbers today. Keep an eye on him. But I wasn't like, oh, Calvin Johnson. Oh, my God, that guy.
Well, that was the thing. Andre Johnson was in the shadow a little bit of Calvin Johnson and Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Yes.
A little bit. He was always the third
both
man
of those guys, first ballot Hall of Famers.
Right.
Like those were unbelievable. So I put them in a Hall of Fame tier. I don't know if I get there with Andre Johnson, but the numbers are what the numbers are, So they don't hand out 1,000-yard and 100-yard seasons.
Right. If you're the third best receiver in the NFL for a period of time of your career, that's Hall of Fame worthy, in my opinion. And what I will say about Andre Johnson, it's a good sign. You know who the big winner was last night for Andre Johnson getting in?
What?
Mike Evans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because Mike Evans already has more touchdowns than Andre Johnson.
Yeah.
And he's only like 2,100 yards or something like that shy of what Andre Johnson did. Mike could get that in his sleep over the next 2 years, barring some crazy decline.
No,
so
absolutely.
Based on that, Mike Evans has a very good shot. I don't know if it's going to be first ballot because the receivers are kind of weird because, like I said, Torrey Holt can't get in.
Yep.
Some of these guys have to wait longer than we think.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike Evans will be a Hall of Famer one day.
I think also, like Mike Evans, since this Brady run, right, I think he's gotten his deal, his due. I think people have noticed him, and now they know, Mike Evans is a game changer each and every game. You got to factor him in. I think that's, this year I think was a huge step for him, with Baker coming in and not, a fresh quarterback, not named Tom Brady, for him to put up 13 touchdowns and then what did he get? 1,300 yards again, 1,300 yards. Yeah. I mean, that's Hall of Fame stuff. It's all there is to it. It's Hall of Fame stuff, but yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's get to, we got to get to, the Baker. Let's do the Baker stuff first while we're talking some Bucks here, and then we'll get to the Rock stuff. So Baker yesterday on Jim Rome, and he's been making the rounds. I don't necessarily think this answer was groundbreaking. It's kind of what we're here, but I always look at the demeanor in which he says it, and he's been so complimentary of the Buccaneers and the opportunity, especially on this interview with Rome. I mean, he was just glowing about the organization and just the family feel and the relationships he has with the players that are here. I mean, if this dude ups and leaves, it's going to be shocking to me. It's going to be shocking to me. So let's hear from Baker with him on Jim Rome yesterday.
Quickly, what about the business of the business? I mean, you had an amazing year. You made it very clear. You're comfortable there. You love them. They love you. You are going to be a free agent. How are you going to approach that process? Do you want to stay there, or do you owe it to yourself to look around and listen?
There's a little give and take, but I love it there. I did love it there. Going into free agency last year, I had the mentality, I'm going to pick somewhere organizationally top down. They do it well. They're about winning. Because at that point in my career, that's all I wanted to do was have a chance to win and be in a good spot and enjoy it again. So I'll have that mentality. But obviously, I've seen what Tampa does firsthand. So, well, the ball's in their court right now. But yeah, we would love to be back there. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
The business of the business. I mean,
yeah, I mean, he's got that wry smile on his face. I just, Jason Light and this group would have to really screw this up. And again, I believe his agent is Tom Hill. It's not one of these super agents that is, all out to just got to get something on my resume. Got to make sure that Baker gets the biggest deal possible to make sure, that's what I can put out in a press release. And that affects the market. It affects negotiations when you have agents like that. I think it's a plus for the Bucs and for Baker, quite frankly, that he doesn't. So I think it's going to be a reasonable number. I think it's going to make him, richer than, beyond his wildest dreams still. He's got a baby on the way. None of it makes sense for him to go to Atlanta or someplace else.
Yeah, he's, like I said, he's going to be the top free agent quarterback on the market along with Kirk Cousins. So, I'm not going to sit here and act like he's not going to have suitors, because he is. And all it takes is one team to give him some outrageous offer. And at that point, Baker Mayfield, this could be the last time he has a chance to really break the bank. And if he feels like he wants to do that, more power to him. The name of the game, whether anybody wants to, you can't sugarcoat it enough, JP, and you know this. This is a business.
Yep.
And the goal is to get as much money as you can on the open market. That's just the reality of the situation here.
Well,
for most guys, I think that's true.
I say for most guys that's true. For the smart guys, it's not.
Well, you heard what Baker said. There's some give and take there, which I thought was code for of course I want to come back, but, at the same time, I do want to get compensated, at least what I think my worth is. And I think the question is what does he feel his worth is? But if you look at the Buccaneers, they've done right by him the entire time that he's been there. From the moment he got here, I know they had the whole quarterback competition type of thing, and listen, if you go back to some of our shows during training camp, we had so many discussions about how Kyle Trask was playing well, and you could see a scenario where he was starting, but I think the Buccaneers always knew in their heart that they wanted Baker Mayfield to be their starter.
Yep.
And even when times got tough throughout the season, and all the shows here locally, including ours, were talking about Kyle Trask, the Bucs never even considered it. They rode out with Baker. He finished the season strong. And listen, last night at the NFL Award Honors, guess who was sitting front row right there on the end? It's Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Why was that? Because he was so successful in Tampa that he rehabilitated his entire career. And even now with the new OC and everything, the search, they did right by Baker Mayfield. They found somebody that he likes. And again, I know you've talked about it this week. Liam Cohen at his press conference, he said it out loud. I came here to coach Baker Mayfield.
And here's the thing. It's one thing, was he consulted? I would say Liam Cohen was handpicked by Baker Mayfield. I would go that far. You look at the connection between them and ask, all the people that were, maybe Thad Lewis, but I think universally everybody thought he's not ready yet. He's very young in his coaching career. But other than that, I think if there's one person that I said Baker would go to, when Jason Light came to him and said, and he did, what are you thinking for OC? What are you thinking? I think the first name out of his mouth was Liam Cohen.
Yeah.
I would bet a lot of money on that deal.
Probably.
Yeah. So he handpicked the OC. He ain't going anywhere.
And I think also Jason Light, he's very smart, and the guys the Bucs have in the front office are very smart. If the Bucs were to lose out on Baker Mayfield, they know that it is going to be catastrophic.
Yes.
To their future, because now you're picking 26.
Yeah.
Then quarterback becomes your biggest need immediately.
Yes.
And now you have to force somebody probably with pick number 26.
Yes.
And you don't want to have to do that.
Yes.
So I think they're going to go all out clearly to retain Baker Mayfield.
Absolutely they are. And if you let him get away, it's a tremendous fail by the organization. If we're sitting here next week or in a month and a half and it's like, okay, we just signed Baker Mayfield to $250 million guaranteed, I'm going to be like, okay, wait.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I don't think Baker or his agent is going there. I just don't think they are. I think there's going to be smarter. Baker knows that he can't carry a team. He knows that.
And where else are you going to any of these teams that need a quarterback? Find me one of those situations where you have an all-pro left tackle already in place. Find me a scenario where, and again, I'm assuming Mike's coming back because that's happening.
Luke Gedeke graded out as one of the top right tackles. So
right.
you may have the best tackle tandem.
You have one of the best tackle tandems in the league, right? And then find me another situation where you have a bona fide number one stud like Mike Evans. Mike Evans is going to come back because if Baker's coming back, Mike is coming back, and vice versa. Right. So find me another scenario that has it as good as that.
Yeah, and a Godwin, a consistent 1,000-yard 1A receiver who's only going to be better next year in the system with Bake, with more weapons, with a better offensive line. Yes, they're all going to be better. They're all going to be better. You can chase money, you can change, but you don't know how you're going to get along with the head coach or the offensive coordinator. You don't know where you're going to live. You don't know the hospital where your baby's going to be born at. You don't know anything. It's all new. Why the hell would you want to do that? How much money is it worth? An extra $6-7 million a year? But at the end of the contract, the difference after taxes is probably not much. To uproot your entire life? No.
Yeah, and if you listen to Baker throughout all these interviews he's done, whether it's with Rome or some of the other guys that he's done interviews with, he's been very consistent with the answer. And the one thing that jumps out to me is he said, I didn't love football for a while, and then I got to Tampa, and now I love football again. I think cool. that means a lot. Really cool. And you probably saw too the exchange. I guess it was a hot mic on the Kay Adams show where her and Gronk were doing something, and then Steve Young's in the background talking to Baker, and it sounded like the mic was supposed to be on mute, but it wasn't. It was a hot mic, and Steve Young was talking to him about it, and it sounded like Steve was kind of encouraging him, to stay.
Of course.
To stay put and everything. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Steve knows, the unknown can be a dark place, and who knows that better than Baker Mayfield? Look what they did to him in Cleveland, and look what they did to him in Carolina. He knows. He knows, he went to those places at one point where embracing them, and that changed quickly. I think he trusts the people at Tampa Bay. All right. Before we get to lead the camper, we got to get to the Rock. You want to set this up? Don't let me set this up. You set this up. Right. So, all right. So yesterday, this is on the Pat McAfee show, and all you Cody crybabies know who you are. I'm putting my allegiance now out there. And so The Rock, obviously, he comes out and he's spoiling the whole, Cody's shot with Roman Reigns and it's going to be WrestleMania. So The Rock comes out and spoils that whole thing. Oh, but we have a twist. So before that twist happened last night, this was on Pat McAfee yesterday afternoon this is The Rock replying to all the Cody crybabies. You want to?
Okay, all right. Okay, got it. I didn't know the name that was coming.
It was the Cody Crybabies, and these are grown-ass men. And Cody got to finish his story. He had to finish his story right now. It's like, wait a second, hold on. Hey, Dad, you want to go outside and play catch with me? Not now. Cody's got to finish, and I'm upset. The wife comes in. Hey, honey, do you want to go have sex? Not now. Cody's got to finish his story. At the end of the day, look, you got the Cody Crybabies, and you have the Cody fans, and you have Cody himself, and there's a clear distinction between the three. But The Rock says this, those Cody crybabies, the ones for every 10 tweets, they're shoving a chicken McNugget in their mouth. For every 20 tweets, they're shoving 2 McNuggets up their ass. What? The Rock says this, all you got to do is sit back, know your role, shut your mouth, and enjoy the ride that The Rock is going to take your candy asses on. So hashtag that. Hashtag shut your bitch asses up. Hashtag Cody crybabies. Shit.
For every 20 tweets, 2 McNuggets go up your That is gold.
Vintage. That's vintage Rock right there.
That was well done.
Vintage Rock. Like a lot of people have said since The Rock came back like a decade ago, he's been more like Dwayne than The Rock. That was classic 20 years ago Rock, Hollywood Rock. Is the persona he used to have, and that was it. Like, even as somebody who likes Cody and everything, that was so dead on accurate. I watched it live, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to, break Twitter.
This is going to break.
And it did. And then when you sent it to me last night, I'm like, it even found its way to you.
Right
I'm
now.
like, that was crazy.
There you know, they've definitely crashed through the ceiling. As Lonnie says, that's how JP sounds talking about us too. Absolutely. I'll take that. Only if I could put it that well. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. So Lonnie says the Cody Crybaby crowd can be applied to so many fan bases. The same fans had Rock, Hogan, and Flair posters, and now they want to act like they never liked him. What's your take on this, Nick? I thought you were Cody Crybaby.
I am not a Cody Crybaby. I'm on record for saying that if WWE had a shot to do Rock and Roman, that is the biggest match they can put on. And that is what they are trying to do for WrestleMania, put the biggest match possible. So if they had a shot to do it, they needed to do it. The whole problem was the way they got there. And I explained that last week, how Cody won the Rumble, and it looked like he just handed the spot to The Rock. And that's where everything went rogue with all the Cody Crybabies, obviously. But last night at the press conference, it was absolute cinema in a way they got around it. And now it looks like we're going to get the match after all, Cody and Roman. But I think The Rock's going to have some part of this because The Rock is going to wrestle at WrestleMania. He basically said that on McAfee. He's already got his training camp. He's working out and everything, like wrestling. He's trying to get down to a certain weight and everything. So, if anything, it's created more buzz, and I can't wait for April, whatever it is, in Philadelphia. It's going to be fantastic.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So they switched it back, so Cody's now getting his shot?
Right. So, Cody originally said, like, I'm not going to challenge Roman at WrestleMania, and then last night, Roman was like, your time has passed, and now I'm going to pick who I face. He picks The Rock. The Rock comes out, and The Rock and Roman, basically, they shook hands and they embraced, and that's how I'm, playing it out now was, how they get around what Cody said about how I'm not going to wrestle you at WrestleMania. I think what's going to end up happening is Cody's like, hold on, I let you have your spot, but then you come out on stage, and now you're, hugging the guy, you're flirting with him, and now all of a sudden, this isn't what I signed up for, so now it's F you, I'm taking my spot back, and I am owed it, by the way. And then Cody goes after The Rock and everything, so now The Rock kind of is going to play the bad guy, it looks like.
Did The Rock slap him?
Yeah, because Cody dissed his family. He said, I look at both of you, and your grandfathers, if they saw both of you now, they'd be ashamed of you.
Oh.
Is what Cody told them. And The Rock stepped up in front of Roman. It was
damn.
like, you're talking about my ancestors. You're talking about my blood. Oh, and then he slapped him, and all hell broke loose. So it was great.
All right. Well, the NFL obviously taking a page out of that book with their own scripting this year. So here we go. How's it going to end? We shall see on Sunday. All right, quick break. When we come back, Lee DeCamper's going to join us from Joe Bucks fan. He's been out at Super Bowl all week, has some thoughts on the whole Baker-Steve Young thing. He was hanging out for that deal. So we'll do that when we get back. The Jeeves Law Group is the place you need to go for your free case evaluation. If you got a total on your car in an accident, and didn't get the money you think you should have gotten, well, that's a sweet spot for the Jeeves Law Group. They can open a case for you and recover some of that money. Just all you got to do is give them a call, go to that website, jeeveslawgroup.com, and get your free case evaluation and give them a call over there. Scott Jeeves, be happy to talk to you. Back in 3 with Lee DeCamper. Stay with us. JP here from my friends at your local Synovus Bank, and I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation, and that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Everybody's sick, right? So great time to get in tune to your immune system. That's what they do at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. They find out what you're doing in terms of your nutrition, your sleep, your exercise. It's a full, long interview with Chris Lugo before you get any advice or any scripts are written. And that's what all doctors should be doing, but none of them do that because they only have 15 minutes with you. Not at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. They'll spend an hour and a half with you, whatever it takes to make sure that you have the right plan for your immune system, for your weight loss, for toning up. If you want to get on the True Body machine, that thing's amazing for your stubborn fat areas. It's all there for you at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Lee DeCamper from JoeBucksFan.com, also co-host of the extremely popular Ira Kaufman podcast, who just got back from Vegas. What's up, Lee? How are you?
Hi, JP. And I can't take credit for being a co-host with Ira. I'm a wannabe. I'm like a straggler on that show. So
no, that is it is a must-listen podcast. I listen every week to the multiple episodes you guys put out. Absolutely fantastic stuff. You guys do a great job. I love the conversational back and forth stuff y'all do with Steve. It's really top notch. It's one of the great podcasts of the Tampa Bay area. So, and you're a big part of it. You're a big part of it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll make sure Ira hears this.
You don't need to blow up his ego anymore. Yeah, he's got plenty. So how was Vegas? Tell me about the whole scene.
Well, Vegas is busy, as you can imagine, and I was busy. Let's put it this way. 3 nights in Vegas, I had 2 drinks total. I didn't even place a wager. That's it. And I forced myself to. Let's put it this way. It was Monday evening, the opening night, Super Bowl opening night. And you've been in these things before. It's chaos. You're walking all over the place. And so I was there all day. I was there at night. And the way the NFL has everything set up, you're doing a whole bunch of walking, a lot of walking. And so I was basically walking for, 5-6 hours. And I was so beat that I was staying at Aria. As soon as I got dropped off by my Uber in Aria, I went to the lobby bar, dragged my computer case with me, ordered 2 bullet bourbons, forced myself to drink those while I sat like a zombie in the lobby bar. And I didn't even have dinner. I was too tired to walk to get a slice of pizza. I went straight to my room and went to bed. So, I almost pulled it off 3 nights in Vegas without a drink. I didn't. I did place a couple wagers on MGM app, but I did not place a physical wager.
Wow.
But I was that busy. That busy. I was, and I got some information. I hounded Baker Mayfield, and I fought with the his marketing agents, which reporters are pariahs to these people because they know they can't make money off. And like I said, you've been on radio several times, Radio Row. You know how it is.
Yep.
And for your listeners, most of the players, not all, but the vast majority are there to hawk products. And I don't blame them.
Yeah.
So
they're getting paid for
their
it.
appointments. Yeah, exactly. So they have appointed schedules with various networks, various radio shows. It's a tight schedule. They're trying to squeeze as many appearances as possible within a given window. And, it's money. So when a reporter wants to come up and ask a question or two, that's costing them money, and they freak out. They don't like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, Baker was doing his rounds, and I was trying to catch him, and I had no idea the Mandalay Bay Convention Center was this huge. I think you went to the Houston Super Bowl a few years ago, JP.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that. The convention center in Houston's like monsters. Well, that's what Mandalay Bay's like. And so Baker's doing his rounds, and this was the day that the video came out where he was allegedly on a hot mic on Kay Adams' show, allegedly telling Steve Young, "I'm coming back." Well, you got to play a little hopscotch with that video to come to that conclusion. He just said, "Yeah," and what does "yeah" mean? I don't know. And so anyway, that video had come out that morning, and I was actually on Radio Row. I saw the video. I sent the video to Steve. Said, "Hey man, I can't hear that video in the media center at Radio Row. I can't hear it. So you tell me what he's saying. I'm here. Baker's here. I'm going to try to flag him down." So Steve got back to me. It's not really clear what he's saying. And
not definitive.
So I was trying to flag. Yeah, exactly. And so I did flag Baker down. I saw, I was told by Brian Baldinger and Network, "Hey, he's coming by at noon," which is like 20 minutes after I saw the video. So great, I'll stake this place out. And sure enough, he shows up. NFL Network goes on his set, does his hit. He starts walking down the stairs. He sees, he goes, "Hey, stranger, how you doing?" "Hi, Baker." And all of a sudden, here come the PR people, the marketing agent. He's like, "Do you know him?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "Does he know you?" I said, "Of course. I talked to him in the locker room. What are you talking about?" "Who are you?" I said, "Well, I'm a beat writer with the Bucks. I cover the Bucks." "Oh, no, he has no time to talk." And I said, "Well, I can get in a couple of questions to me." No, he has no time. He's got to go to another interview." And this is where these guys freak out whenever I say this. Like, "Oh, that's okay. I can walk and talk."
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't know how. They don't have a comeback for that. And I'm like, "Well, he's got to go to another. He doesn't have time to walk and talk." I said, 2 questions is all I'm looking for. Just 2 questions. I'll walk and talk with him. "Well, we don't know." And Baker overheard this. Baker said, "Yeah, I'll talk to him." And that
of course he did.
Him off. Yeah. So we're walking. I asked him 2 questions. One, I asked him, "What's the percentage you're coming back?" And so I was limited what I could ask him. And he told me. And I thought the next question was the key answer. Then I asked him. I said, "If you come back, Baker, what are the percentages you think Mike Evans returns?" He looks at me and smiles. He said, "Pretty high."
Yeah.
I like that answer. So so that was the Baker deal. And real quick, I'll tell you about Steve Young. So like I said, Baker had spoken with Steve Young.
Yeah.
And the hot mic incident. Well, Steve Young, when I'm watching this video and I'm talking to Steve on the phone to what's going on with this video, about 20 yards away, I see Steve Young doing a hit with Mike Florio.
Okay.
He's right there. I'll get him when he finishes up with Florio. Find out what Mayfield was saying. his marketing reps are worse than Mayfield. He can't talk. And I said, I can walk and talk. I only need 1 question. That's all I've got. 1 question. I could, he can't talk. Well, I can walk and talk with him. Nope, he's got to go to another interview. We're late. We're running. I can run and talk. And they were very ticked off at me. Here comes Steve Young, and they started jogging. I jogged with him. I literally jogged with him, and I said, "Steve, what did Baker Mayfield tell you about coming back to the Bucs?" And Steve Young said he told me that he was pretty confident the Bucs re-signed the key free agent. That's all I need, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you. What's so hard about this? I love this lead. This is old school journalism, baby. This is old school journalism. I love it. Absolutely
You know,
love
let's put
it.
it this
Good
way.
for you.
At Radio Row, whenever I want to talk to someone, whether it be me and Times, whomever, you name a person, who's ever at Radio Row, I get shot down more there than I ever do with women at a bar.
Yeah, those handlers don't play, man. They do not. They are there.
No.
They are not there to facilitate interviews. They're there to protect their man from doing anything that they're not. You're absolutely right. If they're not getting paid for it, or if they can't put you on a list of how many people that they're touching in a marketplace. Oh, well, this is the 11th largest market. This is you can sit down with them. Then they have no, because that's how they get paid. They mark it down.
Yes.
We did Tampa, we did Dallas, we did Houston, we did this gets this many listens, blah blah blah, and they build up a report for when they're done. The PR agency and say we did Radio Row and we reached 7.3 million people. It's all BS. But that's how they get paid, and that's how they start trying to quantify these numbers. So you're absolutely right.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying that's why we're pariahs. They get me fun out. Here's a really cool Buck story related to what we're discussing about how the marketing reps, they don't want anything to do with this. Oh my gosh, this might have been 10 years ago. Levante David made a rare Radio Row appearance. It was in Phoenix, and I just happened to be there. And okay, I'll talk to Levante. And I went to Levante, and of course, his marketing agent. Of course, she said, "No, you can't talk to Levante." Just by happenstance. Do you remember Alan Barrett, who worked with Buck Media Relations?
Yeah, he's working for Live Golf
there as well.
Yeah,
he works for Live Golf. He was there as well, taking care of Levante. The marketing rep shot me down immediately. Well, Alan overheard that. He's like, goes to the marketing rep. No, he can talk to Lee. Make time for Lee.
Yes. Yeah. See that, and that's kind of the old days when they would protect. So Baker didn't have any Bucks people around him at all. It was just all advanced auto parts people. Interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's who he was working for, which, I get it. I get the whole business part of it. But look, if you have somebody who's there on Radio Row as a reporter and he's willing to walk and talk as you were, you're not taking up any time. They should be facilitating that. But as we know, those are old school values. Hey, you mentioned, are you hearing any scuttlebutt about Baker to the Falcons?
Well, I talked to D. Orlando Ledbetter of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and he's like, he covers that beat like a blanket. Yeah, Good dude. And I asked him, I said, what do you think of the chances the Falcons are going to make a pitch for Baker? He didn't think it was going to happen. He said that question actually did come up in Raheem's press conference when he was introduced as head coach on the Falcons. He said that question actually did come up. And, of course, Raheem couldn't say a whole lot about it. But he didn't think that they were going to go after Baker. Not that they don't want him, but it'd be a financial issue. And he seems to get the impression that their organization is probably looking at making drafting a quarterback high in the first round. And going from there, hopefully a franchise quarterback. So he didn't think if they did talk to Baker, he wasn't sure how serious their pitch would be.
Yeah, I think they're more focused on drafting quarterback or going after Justin Fields, depending on the compensation. And I think they're just using Baker as leverage. And that's fine. I get it. But I agree with you. I don't think it's as good a fit as those other points for Raheem and for the fan base, for Arthur. And I worked there for 2 years, and I know Arthur Blank wants to be relevant again nationally and within Atlanta. I mean, they do not sell a lot of tickets in Falcons football, and Justin Fields would sell a ton of tickets. Hometown kid, coming home, makes all the sense. If they sign Baker Mayfield, the fan base would be in a revolt. Trust me. Like, that would not be popular. That would be like Greg Schiano to Tennessee. That would not go over very well in Atlanta whatsoever. It wouldn't. I'm just telling you. So that's one of the big reasons I don't think it's happening. All right. Any other tidbits you picked up while you were out there in Vegas?
Well, here's one that's gossipy. And if you want to traffic in gossip, this is kind of gossip.
Oh God, of course we do, Lee. We got 2 hours to fill, for God's sakes. Yes. Yes.
Well, Steve and I are Joe Bucks fan. We both noticed this separately. Okay. And we've written about it several times. I cannot confirm this, and as a matter of fact, I really haven't even pursued it or asked many players about it. But when Tom Brady, his last year with the Bucks, beginning with at least for me, beginning with the San Francisco game, it sure looked like his teammates had tuned him out.
Oh, yeah.
If you go back to that San Francisco game, you see how he was yelling at players and trying to motivate them. They just looked like they had tuned him out.
No, we said that then. I picked up on that as well. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Oh, I'm 100%. It was a totally different vibe than when Brady first got here. Completely different vibe.
Yeah.
They were done with it. They were done with it.
Yeah. That's the impression I got beginning with the San Francisco game.
Yep.
At least for me. That's when I first picked up on it. Well, I heard through the grapevine, and who knows if this is true or not. I heard through the grapevine that we were not wrong. That apparently some of Brady's teammates were starting to get fed up. It was pretty clear he didn't want to get hit. And, he's always like, got to give 110%, got to bust your tail. And he wasn't practicing what he preached, in other words.
Exactly.
And that some of his teammates noticed that, and that's when the tune-out began.
I agree. It was, from watching the tape, you picked up on it early in the season, and it just grew and grew and grew. And then I think the Pittsburgh situation where he went to Bob Kraft's wedding and didn't come with the team, I thought that was not received well, given everything else that the organization had done for him. Letting him take off training camp, everything else, that did not sit well. And look how they played that day and the following week against Carolina.
Carolina, they were completely checked out. Yeah.
That's when it all started. And I think it kind of, he tried to reclaim, it's Tom Brady, right? And they never really put it back together. A lot of it I think is on Brady. And I'm pretty sure I know where you feel on the whole Brady tampering, going to the Dolphins, retirement, suddenly coming back. Bowles is the coach, Arians isn't. To me, that was all Brady orchestrated. That was 100% Brady orchestrated. Do I have 100% proof? No. Do I have a lot of people on the record? I shouldn't say on the record. Anonymous sources that have confirmed all that? Absolutely. I think I won't put words in your mouth, but is that a fair characterization?
What I have heard,
Brady ordered the code red.
Well, I don't know if Brady ordered the code red, but what I have learned, what I've been told, was Arians retiring and Brady returning are not separate incidents.
Right. Yes. Well put.
They're related.
We'll leave. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. And listen, this is Nick hates when I do this, but this is not to stain Tom Brady's legacy. Tom Brady was one of the greatest things that ever happened to the Bucs. I would put it just behind the 2002 Super Bowl. And some people would put it in front because it's Tom Brady. I'm fine with that. Y'all can say whatever you want. I have a special affinity for the 2002 team. The Brady team is what it is. It was one of the greatest things that ever happened to the Buccaneers. But I'm also not going to sit here and tell you that things did not end poorly. They did. And listen, as you well know, Lee, it rarely ends well, whether it's John Lynch, Derek Brooks, whatever. It's the business of football, and sometimes it's ugly, and you don't want to know how the sausage is made, right? Yep. So in this particular case, it didn't end well, and that's normally kind of how it goes. But to me, it's not a stain on Brady's legacy, but it is what it is.
Exactly.
I think that's fair.
And you put it well. It never ends well.
No. And that's okay. All right. Give us a little promo, Lee, what you guys got coming up on Joe Bucks Fan. Go ahead and promote the content, the website, the podcast, all that stuff.
Well, thank you. Well, obviously, Ira's a twice weekly podcast, and we try to make it entertaining. We try to make it sound like a couple guys in a bar having beers, discussing the Bucks, arguing over the Bucks, throwing things at each other about the Bucks. Yes, I was in Las Vegas at the Super Bowl. I talked to all 4 ex-Bucks who are on the 49ers roster. Donovan Smith, Justin Watson, Mike Edwards. We got on the Chiefs. Excuse me, not 49ers. On the Chiefs, yeah. And Blaine Gabbert. And so I've got several stories from each of those guys still coming from JoeBucksFan.com. And so, that's one reason I go there. It's the main reason I go there. I get Bucks-related stories. So I just happened that I was there same time Mayfield. That was just sheer luck. But I did go there specifically to get Buck stories on opening night, and I got hold of all 4 ex-Bucks.
Nice.
And that's a feat in itself. Like I said, you've been in those things before. You
Yeah,
have
it's
to
great
roam
stuff.
and walk and roam and walk. It's crazy, and it's like finding a needle in a haystack. There's one player. Well, I found all 4, and
Nice.
so I have several stories from those guys with some Buck stories, and they'll be coming in the coming days on JoeBucksFan.com.
Awesome. Great stuff, Lee. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, JP. Have a good one.
Yeah, will do. Check out the podcast. Really, really good podcast with Ira and Steve and Lee. You were kind of quiet there, Nick. Like nothing to throw in.
No, you started slandering the GOAT, and I just had to tune out, and I had to look up here at the Tom Brady newspaper that I have framed on my wall, and
it's
holding
great.
up the Lombardi.
It's amazing.
It's like, we're like 2 days removed from the 4-year anniversary of one of the greatest days that I have ever lived on this earth, and we're talking about how it ended. I could care less about how it ended. Just like just like the people in New England, I'm sure. Oh, maybe not. They take it very serious there, and rightfully so. I'm sure they care a little bit of how it ended.
Yeah.
But we remember the great
It never
times.
ends well.
I
Yeah,
remember the
it
great
never ends well.
times.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a nice story to tell about how it ended at some point, and whatever, we'll get the answers. But I don't care. You want to call him a hitman or whatever that came in, I don't care. He won a Super Bowl in his first year with the Buccaneers.
It's an amazing accomplishment.
And I could give 2 craps about everything else that happened. And
Two
the Bucs
things-
and when he left, by the way, the Bucs have continued the success, and they're set up well for the future. That's all I care about.
Well, as like we say on this show very often, 2 things can be true here. It was one of the greatest things that ever happened to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, without question. The day I first broke the report that he was coming to Tampa Bay was one of the greatest days of my life. Are you kidding me? It's fantastic. And I'll remind people of that all the time. Just for fun. But it's also true the way it ended was ugly. It wasn't good.
But listen, that third year he gave us was unexpected based on the events that preceded it. And
I'd rather had the 5 first-round picks, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Or the 3, as it might be.
Bull crap. I'm calling.
As opposed to the last year of Brady.
I hate to rehash these conversations.
Getting your ass handed to you in the playoffs.
I hate to go down these
3 first-round picks. Hell yeah, I'd rather have 3 first-round picks.
I hate to go down these rabbit holes again. I'm just saying that if Tom Brady wants to come back for another year, there ain't no way I'm saying, no, we're good. We're good. No, but my point is I've blocked out that year. Okay, it's a year. I've taken a Sharpie and I've just gone over it. I don't care.
You should.
And if not for the idiot known as Antonio Brown and an ill-advised defensive call by Todd Bowles, I'm so convinced that Brady would have won back-to-back in Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that to me that's the bigger what if in this whole situation than how it ended.
No. That was a symptom of the sickness to Antonio Brown. That was a symptom of the entire sickness of the team. So you can't take that. You can't take the symptoms away from the disease. All right. It all comes in one. So when you, Tom Brady, enable Antonio Brown to be the bitch ass that he is, when you enable him and you keep allowing him to do whatever the hell he wants, you know what happens? Eventually, he takes off his gear and walks off the field in the middle of the game. That's what happens when you enable bitch asses like Antonio Brown. And eventually, that's what's going to happen. Now, you got the Super Bowl out of him, so it was great. Fantastic. But eventually, that was going to happen. The meltdown was coming. And so that's how it went. That's how it ends. So what? That's not besmirching the man or the Tom Brady era in Tampa Bay. It's just keeping it real. That's why people watch the show. We keep it real. And that's what happened. It's fine. Who cares how it ended?
I don't care. We need
to have a trophy.
Statue. We need to build a statue as soon as possible.
Build a statue. I'm fine with it. Come on. 2 things can be true. And they are.
All right. From this moment forward, the 2022 season is dead to me, and we're never talking. You would talk about it with someone else on this show, but you ain't talking about it with me. It's dead.
Oh God, I love it.
In fact, actually, hold on a second. Let me find it here.
What's that?
There we go.
No. What? What? Oh, you hear the bump
You hear
music.
the little
Yes,
jingle?
great.
You hear the jingle?
I hear. It's a little low in my ear. You need to
you've
bump
been-
it up
you've
a
been-
little bit.
You've been cut off from this segment. We
You've
gotta
been-
go to
you-
break anyway.
All right, we're going to break. I think I'm still on. All right, Corey Long coming up next. He just got back from Vegas as well. We'll chat with him about Buccaneers, NHL, and college football as we always do. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center and Italiano Insurance. Stay with us.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Start the new year with a new diamond from the Gold and Diamond Source. It's still engagement season. Where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? Of course, I just got mine there. I'm engaged. You should do the same thing. Let's go. Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country. A literal jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. And if you have a loved one or a special person in your life who has a birthday this month, maybe you have an anniversary coming up, you can get 15% off the January birthstone, which is garnet, as in garnet and gold for all your Seminoles. Celebrate that mythical national championship. And it's the Gold and Diamond Source's 40th anniversary. For the past 40 years, they have taken pride in offering only natural diamonds formed over billions of years from the Earth's incredible forces. And gold prices are at an all-time high. Now's your chance to turn your jewelry box into a cash machine. It's the perfect time to trade in your broken or unworn pieces for something new and stunning. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Super Bowl Friday. God, the last Friday of the football season. Oh, my God. Oh, depressing. We've only got to, 3 months to the draft and free agency?
Hey, don't worry. We got about, 2 weeks before pitchers and catchers report?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we got to talk a little bit of race today. We'll do that as well. Want to wish a happy birthday to one of our great listeners, Brian B. It's his 50th birthday. Big Lightning fan and Cowboy fan. How about them Cowboys? So happy birthday to you, Brian B. Thank you so much for listening, and John Hill and all the group there. We appreciate you guys very, very much. So happy 50th birthday. It's all downhill from there, brother. Trust me on that one. No, 50's the new 20. It's beautiful.
It's all downhill when you turn 22 and they get you into the real world. That's when it goes downhill.
Wow, that's very depressing right there for all the youngsters out there. All right, we got Corey on.
Yep.
All right, let's welcome in our good friend, writes for NHL.com, NFL. I think on lots of different .coms. He covers the Lightning. He covers pro football. He's in every press box in America. He is the great Corey Long. What's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, JP? How you doing?
And he's at the Sphere watching U2, his favorite band. I did not know you were such a U2 fan.
Yeah, I am. I love them. I'm quite a fan, and it was a great opportunity to get a chance to go see their concert, their show at the Sphere. I think they played through this month, so I think they're done at the end of the month. Is their residency runs out there, and it was phenomenal. I mean, I was at the concert at Raymond James Stadium several years ago, and that was great. But this was another level. This was
what's it like?
It's hard to put it in words. Everything that's just it's this wonderful digital art, just presentation behind them. The band is the band. They sound great. They sounded terrific actually. And behind them there's so much. There's so many. And I'll actually send you some photos. I'll just text you some photos, some videos later to give you a better visual idea of
I saw what you put
what's
on
going
Instagram.
on.
Yeah, I just
kind of put just one just kind of I was there picture on Instagram, but I'll personally send you some real some videos and stuff of everything else, because you want to get it's hard to explain there's just such a amazing digital presentation behind them. And they're kind of it's interesting because they're one of the few bands that you have bands that obviously play, that are just great musicians that play music that you love. And then you have those acts that they're all about the presentation. It's all about, it's not, it's an experience. And they kind of, they've done this before with different tours, like with the Zoo TV tour and stuff, that they can actually pull off having these sort of great experience, great presentations, and still have the credibility of being a very good rock band that plays tremendous music. So you get it in both worlds, and it was wonderful. The friend I went with, she's seen them live a lot more than I have, and she was very much in tears at times just because of the experience. It was very. It's still kind of difficult for me to put it in words of what I saw, but it was amazing. It really was.
Wow, that's cool. I don't think I'm going to get out there to see it, but someday to the Sphere, hopefully see one of my favorite acts. It looks amazing. The whole experience looks amazing.
It is. It was so much. We got there. It's actually, here's the one thing I will tell you. It's actually comfortable. The seats are comfortable. Like, you don't feel squeezed in. I remember sitting down. I'm a tall guy. I'm a big guy. And I was like,
you're a big dude.
This is literally the most comfortable stadiums you have ever been in. That, it just was. I was like, this feels nice. Like, the usher come by, hey, you okay? Do you want? No, I'm fine. This is really a nice, good seated area. So
for
I was very
$3 billion,
happy with
it ought to be.
Corey, were you inspired to climb the Sphere after you saw the young kid who decided to go like full Spider-Man and go to the top? Did you get any inspiration from that? Because it looks like a very good structure if you want to climb up there. It looks like a big old ladder.
I heard it's a climbable structure. I think, as part of our long walk from the Venetian to the Sphere, I had to climb like 20 stairs. And that was plenty enough for me. That I felt like, they could have arrested me after 5 stairs, and I'd have been like, cool, I'm done. So, the other I will say this, every time I go now, I do want like a hotel room. This is the second time in a hotel room with a view of it. You always want a view of it because it is kind of a fun little structure to stare at all night, especially this weekend with a lot of, a lot of funny little Super Bowl stuff happening on the little digital pixels outside there.
On the outside,
so it was a good time.
And when I was last
really
there in
good
Vegas, we could see like the half of the sphere from our hotel room, and hadn't really gone. It hadn't gone fully loaded yet. It was just like a couple of different static things, and it was definitely shines through the window. That's for sure. You know, it's on when it's on. It's definitely it's on. Cool stuff. So, how was the vibe? Other than that, Radio Row and all that, how was the vibe?
Yeah, it was fun. It got really crowded on Wednesday. You know, the storms on the West Coast probably kept some people back a couple of days, but by Wednesday, flights were coming in. Flights were able to come back in from LA a mile a minute. So everybody was out there on Wednesday, and, you know, security picked up, people picked up. You know, the first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, it was raining, so it was kind of calm almost. But once the sun came out on Wednesday, it was wild, and you could tell when I left. And I left last night. It was, you know, I left in the afternoon last night. It was really getting, you know, heavily packed, and then you had the WWE doing their WrestleMania press conference there, so they had a lot of, you know, I got a chance to see, you know, Dwayne Johnson before I left, and the entourage of people that he wrote. Here's the funniest thing. The funniest thing of the week was the guy who had the most handlers during at least on Tuesday when I saw. Like, you know, most people were just, it was Tuesday, it wasn't Wednesday, so people are still walking around kind of. Tony Romo, you get Phil Simms, you get a lot of NFL guys. But the guy you could not touch, Danny Cannell, he had 5 guys and a camera crew around him.
Danny Cannell?
Yeah, we're just like, what's Danny Cannell doing here with a full-on entourage and a camera crew with?
That's what happens when you go
anti-SEC and he and the rest of them.
That's what happens when you go anti-SEC, because all the SEC knuckleheads come after you. So yeah, that's why he has all that security. I think. Yeah. You don't want to cross the Cosa Nostra or the SEC, because they will come after you. One of the two. Absolutely. Do not cross those people. They are crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. We're sitting there like, we're sitting there watching them like, man, he's got a full offensive line and a camera.
There you go. Yeah. So did you get the chance to run across Baker at all out there, or any of the Xbox?
I did see him a few times. The 2 times I saw him, he was actually, you know, he was hooked. He had a camera. He was hooked up to doing an interview. Like I was actually standing pretty close to him when he did one of his NFL Network interviews, and you know, he just kind of, and then I got sidetracked probably by somebody else, and he just rushed off. So, but he was out there. He seemed to be you know, he was out there. I know he was there for honors. I think, what was he up for? Comeback player of the year?
That went to Joe Flacco, who played like 3 games.
Yeah, that was weird. But then I also look at it like, it's comeback player of the year. It's kind of an odd award. I guess they gave the guy who came back off the couch. You know, he literally came back off the golf course.
Literally off the couch,
football.
I guess.
Literally, like, I guess I can still. Can you still throw a football? I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see. So
yeah, I would have given it to the guy who played the whole season. That would have been where I would go with that. But call me crazy.
Yeah,
Hey, let me get your.
That just seems strange.
Let me get your thoughts on the Lightning the last couple nights. I don't know how much if you got to watch the games, but last night a 6-2 loss, 3-1 the night before to the Rangers. They had 4 shots, I believe, in the first period last night. I know. I guess you could say it's a bit of a Sergei hangover, but you know, like Chief was on the show yesterday. And it's like, look, you know, as the players, you got you know, as cold as it sounds, you got to kind of move on from that. So I don't want to, you know, I'm more concerned about this blue line than I've ever been, but it does open up a little bit of room for Julien Brisebois to make some moves if they put Sergei on long-term IR, which of course they will.
They will, yeah. So I heard about. I was literally walking towards a concert when my buddy Justin Sparks, my old high school classmate, sends me a text, and he didn't say anything. He just said, you know, oh, this looks serious. They're definitely, you know, so I you know, I jumped on Twitter to kind of see what happened, and I saw it was Sergachev, and then I saw Stretch it off. Well, and I saw the play a little later, and And the next night I'm sitting there like, this is probably not going to be a good trip to the Empire State, and it wasn't. And it's unfortunate coming out of a long break after they've won 8 out of 9 to have these two stumbles. The thing is, they hadn't played with Sergachev for a month, so they could definitely go back to that lineup that they had, and those guys seem to have caught a little fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but absolutely. Now I think I thought the trade deadline was going to be really interesting for the Lightning before this happened.
Right
now, with this injury, you're going to take one of your larger salary guys, and you're putting them on LTIR. It really does give them some room to figure out exactly how they want to attack this playoff stretch, these final 30 games or so, 35 games of the season, and really get into some playoff position, because they were playing so well before the break. We're all starting to think, well, this is a top 3 in the Atlantic team, and I think they want to get back. Obviously, they want to get back to that point. So 2 games, it's a stumble. It's not a good start. Gave up some goals. The offenses, came out a little sluggish. It's unfortunate. It happens. Obviously, the injury, is definitely going to take some steam out of you. But I feel like just having a day off will do a lot of wonders for this team mentally. And, they'll be back at it over the weekend.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it does open up $8.6 million now for Brisebois to go out and find maybe a defenseman, something that fits right into what they need, an older, maybe a guy who brings in a little grit and a little fire. And I think they make the move. I think it becomes really, really interesting. And the fact that they were playing good hockey without Sergei, I mean, we hate that happened to him. It sucks. What he wrote on Instagram was heartbreaking almost to read. But look, we send him the healing vibe. Bolts Nation's behind him. He'll be back. He'll be fantastic next year. But for this season, it opens up an opportunity now for this Lightning team to make some moves and improve themselves at the deadline. And I think they need to do it. And I think they will.
And Julian Brisebois is gonna, the one thing he learned in his first year at GM when he didn't make any moves is never not make moves.
Exactly.
So
do something.
He's gonna be doing something. He's gonna be doing something on the trade deadline, and we'll be there to see it. And that's the thing. And really, in hockey, that's what you want. You want a GM that's not afraid to make moves. He like we said, the first year in 2019, he decided to stand pat. And I think he realized that will never happen again. That will never happen again. He'll always be figuring out something.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the on the topic of the deadline. I could be off base here, but all these guys that came up from Syracuse and they've had varying degrees of success. It seems like the only one that's around full time now is Lilleberg there on the back end. And I'm curious, I mean, am I reading it wrong that potentially, and especially the Sergachev injury opens this up, he's playing right now and maybe they're, dare I say, showcasing him a little bit to the rest of the league, because now we see this guy clearly could play. But again, if you're trying to win Stanley Cups, you probably need more experience back there, and he could be part of a trade package, I guess, if you say.
It's a tricky, and it's a good question, Nick, and it's a tricky balance. You have to figure out a couple of things, I think. One, you want to figure out where you're deepest at on your line, on your blue line. Do you have enough guys on the left side to be able to trade a young guy? Do you have enough guys? Do you need more guys on your right side? What do you need? What do you have? More importantly, you have to look at the now. And the one thing that Julian always has to do with this team and their tricky cap situation is look at the now and look at the future. You can't trade with so many small salary guys that are NHL ready, because you need those guys. Those guys are going to get you through the 2-3 year period when you get contracts that are coming up off the books, or contracts that they can survive. I mean, top teams run heavily on having those few young guys that are playing for around the minimum, that you don't have to worry, that have those years of arbitration, that you're not worried about putting up big salary numbers on them just yet. So this is a situation where he's got some money freed up due to a bad injury, but that money's not going to be there past this year. You know, it's going to go away once this year goes away. So it's a delicate balance to say, you know, where, you know, what prospects are you interested in trading for what will probably be more of a 1-year rental, maybe a 2-year guy. And if it's the right person, obviously you make the move because it could be the difference between winning another cup or competing for another cup and getting out in the first round. But it's really that delicate balance that he has to do. You understand that you do need some young players that, you know, it's something they've talked about. It's something that was really, you know, for like 2 weeks ago, we're looking at as, wow, this is a great advantage for the future to have these young guys that are getting NHL time that look like they can play in this league, they can develop in this league, and they're going to be doing it on smaller, you know, on a small salary number, which, you know, helps out a ton when you got guys like Stamkos who you need to re-sign.
Right.
You got Victor Hedman you're going to want to re-sign in a year from now. So, you know, it's all the salary numbers they're just really, it's just like I said, it's a really delicate balance. So he's looking at all of those things. When you make trades this time of year, you're looking at this year, you're looking at next year, looking at 2 years down the road. How does this trade affect my number for the next 3 years? So.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going to go into it, but I agree with you. I think Julian definitely, this kind of forces his hand to do something, and I'm sure, and we have to kind of recognize as well that, you know, the having ownership behind you saying, yeah, if you want to go spend, you know, add to the payroll, you know, it ain't cheap and it costs money, and a lot of organizations the raise. Well, don't do things like this.
This team will push the limits of they'll push the limit of the salary cap. They've shown that they'll do it again. That's what, you know, that's how they want to live right now. They understand that you just don't have, you know, as he said before, there's just not enough. There's just maybe any team has just a few opportunities over a long span where you've got this many high quality players on the roster at one time, and it's important just to fill them out with guys that can help you win in the playoffs. So that's, you know, they're going to push the limits of this thing while they can, but they also know that, you know, some of these guys like Stamkos and Hedman, you are still playing at a high enough level to where you want them to be. You want them to be around for, you know, several more years, and then you've got some young guys that are, you know, that you're hoping are just really, you know, obviously Point and Hagel are getting into their big contract terms that you hope are really going to be, you know, Braden Point's going to be, you know, close to a 100-point guy a season, and Brandon Hagel's going to be a 75-point guy each season. They're going to be top-line players. So it's a lot going on with this team, and we're very lucky to have so much talent, both veteran talent, younger talent, guys that are hitting their prime, you know, guys on the defensive and guys at forward, an MVP candidate in Kucherov. By the way, who was amazing in the All-Star game. I loved it. I really do. You know, it was the best. You know what? The hell with those Toronto fans. Give them the effort that they deserve. It was good. I'm glad the whole organization went up there with that attitude. Well, you know what? We're just gonna completely mock this silly fan base all weekend.
Yeah, and they did it well. That was a hell of a troll job. Hey, do you want to weigh in with Nick on this Cody Crybabies and The Rock and the whole thing? I know you got an opinion on this.
I'll say this: as someone who's followed it for long, that was a really good piece. I got home and I watched it because all I saw was a little piece on Instagram while I was flying, and I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not going to spoil this. I'm going to watch it, see what the heck happens. It was a good piece of business. It really was. It really worked out. But they had to figure out how to get out of how to make some chicken salad out of this that turned into, you know, something they probably didn't fully expect. And they also are trying to get people's mind off of some legal things that are happening.
Yeah. I totally forgotten about that stuff. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. That was the point. You know, it's like if you can get it past the Vince stuff and say, hey, this has kind of got funny. You know, it was, you know, now, you know, you got kind of a new look. I looked at it. I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. I was like, all right, these guys are still they still got it. They're still figuring out how to turn a situation that could have been a hairy one into a good one that's got people asking what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
That's fun. That was fun. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I will say that. I had a big smile on my face. And I like The Rock when he's a bit of a jackass, too. He's far more entertaining.
He's good at it.
I was
really good
gonna
at
say,
it.
it's like my take on this last night. You said good piece of business. It's exactly what I tweeted. I was like, tremendous piece of business. And call it a pivot, whatever you want. At the end of the day, I think WrestleMania has even more hype to it now, Corey. Because of what they did.
I might even watch that.
Right.
now.
JP's even invested in it a little bit now.
Yeah. I
like
like the strategic alliance here with the NFL. Now, they're both scripting their seasons now. I think it's perfect.
The NFL script has worked pretty well this year, But I don't know if do you think they really wanted the San Francisco, you think they ever wanted the quarterback to be like the 14th best player on the team? I don't know if that really works into the script every time. I guess it could rewrites.
Here we go, Cam Newton.
He's not the 14th best player on the team. I'll tell you that right now.
Is that what you're saying, Corey? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying Brock Purdy's the 14th best player on the team, Cam Newton? Is that what you're saying? Are you wearing a grandma hairnet at the same time that you're saying that?
All right, fine. 9th best player on the team. He won me some points after the Lions comeback. No, that's not saying he's bad. No, wait a second.
It's part of the script, bro. Listen, part of the script.
That's not saying that he's done a bad job. That's not saying that he's done a bad job. It's not saying that he didn't have a heck of a game, the championship game. It's just saying that, he throws that ball high over the middle and gets away with it a lot. A lot. You look at these last two games. You look at some of the stuff he's done in the first half of those games, and it's like, man, somebody calls it. He throws a lot of hospital tabs. I thought that was kind of funny, but I just said, man, he gets away with throwing that ball high over the middle more than he should.
Best tight window thrower in the game.
He is, Corey. He has played. I'll give you this take. He has played the position in the regular season better than any other quarterback in the NFL over the last 2 years. Brock Purdy has. And I don't
in the regular season, okay.
And by the way, in the playoffs, he's 4-1. 4-1.
No, I give him full credit for what happened. I mean, as much as I want to, I both give him credit for what happened in the championship game for coming back, and Dan Campbell for not being an adult in the room. I think both things happen, but the not taking the field goal when you're up 24-10 is the goofiest thing ever. It's like, why do you want to let this team have an opportunity to stay on schedule? But I mean, let's see. I mean, is he good? He's done a good job. I think. Is he? Here's the thing. If with other teams, it's unquestionable. Like, we got to the final four teams. Patrick Mahomes is clearly the best player in the Chiefs. Best, no doubt. You're just Patrick Mahomes. They're probably 6-11 without him. Lamar Jackson, we know what he means to the Ravens. Maybe the Lions, maybe you can say, St. Brown is a little better than Goff. Maybe you can say Hutchinson, but, Goff is a top 3 guy. I can name like 7 49ers that they need.
Name them.
All right.
Name them.
All right. First of all, McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle. Let's see. On defense, Bosa, Greenlaw. Who's the other dog on linebacker? I can't even think.
Warner.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. There we go. There's 6. All right. Fine. Kyle Shanahan, 7. Boom.
I guess Trent Williams is 8. I'm guessing Trent Williams is 8.
Yeah, Trent Williams is probably in it. But that's a credit to the Niners. They're a stacked team. They're so deep.
It's easy to find quarterbacks to
win
be
with
top
the lead
5.
singer and the Pet Shop Boys. I think it's pretty cool. They can go out there and win with the lead singer and the Pet Shop Boys because they've got so many players on the squad. And he's done a good job. He's done a great job at running Kyle Shanahan's offense. I do wonder, and it's going to take here's the thing. Tom Brady wasn't the best player on the Patriots their first Super Bowl. He wasn't. Guy threw for $149?
Yeah.
He got a whole hell of a lot better over time because he worked his ass off and he was a great talent. So we might be seeing the same thing. We really could be. I don't know. That's the great thing about this Super Bowl. I don't know. And I will tell you this: he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. That's why he's on it. He's better. Like, he's better. He pushes the ball down the field more. He's more mobile. He won't get injured by you just putting a shoulder to shoulder on him. So I think he's a lot better than Garoppolo, and he's what they needed to get back there because that team's loaded.
Blasphemous. Absolutely blasphemous. You can
What,
find.
I'm saying he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo?
No, you're saying that he's the 14th best player on the team. It's quarterback. It's not that easy to find guys that do what he do. So it's that easy to find guys that can. How many quarterbacks in this league do you think you could plug in there? You think Baker Mayfield is as good as Brock Purdy?
Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy.
Oh.
Well, on that team, with that offense, with that guy calling plays? Are you kidding me? I think Jordan Love could go in there and do that. You think Jordan Love can go in there and do that? Are you serious?
I don't think so, no. Not until I see somebody do it. Not until I see somebody do it. I think we saw Jimmy Garoppolo do it.
Not at this level. Not at this
Jimmy
level.
Garoppolo got to the same Super Bowl that this guy's getting to. Like, they both reached the same exact point right now. The difference is Brock Purdy has to win it. I think he's better than Jimmy, but they've done the exact same thing.
All right, we'll see.
I mean,
that's why they play the game.
The 49ers have made the championship game like 5 or 6 times since 2011. Like, they've been at this spot for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have. A lot of it has to do with those players that you mentioned. I agree, 100%.
Yeah,
they're a good football
loaded
team.
roster. Yeah, for a while. So that's it. But the good thing is, like I said, Tom Brady wasn't the best player in the Patriots when they won their first Super Bowl.
No.
He was far from it. But he won a Super Bowl, and he learned. And by winning that, he became addicted to winning, which made him addicted to being, the GOAT.
I don't think you're giving Brock Purdy enough credit for seeing the field, being able to throw with anticipation and accuracy, tight window throws, being athletic enough to get out of the pocket and make big plays. I don't think you're giving enough credit for that.
I give him credit for two very good second halves in the playoffs this year. He came back against Green Bay, had a hell of a drive late, something that Josh Allen couldn't do. So I give him credit for that, first of all, that he actually took his team on his back when they were down late in the game at home, won the game. And I give him a hell of a lot of credit for the Lions game for just using his feet, doing it. But again,
we lost him.
He finally threw a pick. He finally threw a pick in that Lions game, and it's just like, I looked at it and I'm like, man, he is throwing the ball high in the middle of the field in the first half of games now. A little too much for me. And it's just he's getting away with it because sometimes you can lucky enough you can throw it where there's nobody at. But he's gotten away with it quite a bit. Now, you know what?
Isn't that the object of the game, to throw it where they're not in terms of defensive players, to throw it over the linebackers and in front of the safeties?
JP,
a high ball.
JP, if you get a chance, you're a busy man. You're a busy, successful man that's engaged now. So I know you don't have any time. Just if you can watch those 2 first halves, just watch them with just kind of scan through them real fast if you got them.
Not great.
And you're gonna just see that, man, he's gotten away with a few, and it's and you just wonder. And it's not a luck thing. I think sometimes you just get away with believe me, every quarterback should have 5 or 10 more picks than they do during the course of the season. That's why DBs play DB and not wide receiver.
Yeah, especially playing the Bucs.
It's not. So it's just, you just wonder, is he going to get away with it? And I don't dog him because I'm not a fan. Don't think I'm not a fan of the guy. There's some people that just don't like him.
21-5 now. He's 26 games of that's a big sample size. So he's not getting away with it anymore. He's a good player.
I've defended what he's done in the second half of these playoffs by saying, hey, everybody thinks Josh Allen is all world, but Josh Allen had 3 chances with that game 27-24 against the Chiefs and got 3 and out, and could barely get him to like a 45-yard field goal. Brock Purdy's went down there and won games. So, hey, I can do it. I don't want to sit in there and stare down defense in the
I'll
eye.
be rooting for the Niners, but I think Patrick Mahomes, if he has the ball last, is going to get the job done because that's the way they script it.
Yeah.
And Taylor comes on to the field, and with Mr.
Taylor
Pfizer, and they have a big Rock shows up.
They can
Roman Reigns shows up.
COVID shots. Roman Reigns comes up. He's probably gonna, he's gonna spear Christian McCaffrey because his contract's running out. They don't need him anymore for this.
Taylor's gonna jump on stage with Usher in her '87 jacket. Yeah, it's all in the script, bro. And everybody's gonna go, Taylor's here! Oh my God, she's here!
With her 4 Album of the Year awards.
Yes, that's right.
I think the best part is they're wearing Chiefs gear that was designed by the 49ers fullback's wife.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
now
know.
She's got to deal with the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if I'm Kyle Eustace, I'm telling you can't make no more gear for them. Not this week.
No, she's got
to take the stitches. You got to take the stitches out of your hand.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks, Corey. You're the best as always. Great stuff. Even if you're wrong.
Absolutely, man.
I love you, brother.
Check out an act. Check out an act if you get a chance. I know you'll be out there soon. You got to. Yeah. And everybody,
how much was the
great
ticket?
Super Bowl. Tickets were not cheap. They ran about $480 a pop.
Wow. Worth it? I guess worth it. Maybe.
Absolutely. One, I don't have another life that I know about, so I'm cool with
there
it.
you go.
You know?
Absolutely. If making memories is what life's all about. It's worth it then. Absolutely.
Absolutely. You can't
what else are you going to spend it on? A steak?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what a burger and 2 beers cost you down on the strip. So might as well. Absolutely.
Exactly. It was either that or like an appetizer at Smith and Walensky's.
Right.
What do you want?
Exactly. But you eat them and they're gone. No memories whatsoever.
Exactly.
Bacon wrapped shrimp weren't even that good. All right, my friend.
Exactly.
Great to chat with you. We got to take a break.
Take care.
We got to get to the comments section here as well. There's some good comments coming in, so I got to get to those. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Don't forget the Golden Diamond Source is the place you need to be. It's Valentine's Day. They got specials all over the place. If you're going to get engaged, you've been thinking about it, pull the trigger. Head on over there and tell them, here's my budget. Get your 0% financing from 3 to 5 years. See how big a ring you can get with all those things going for you. Great prices, great selection. They'll take care of everything. They'll box it up for you, make the presentation perfect for Valentine's Day. If you're not getting engaged, you just want something sparkling, you don't know what to get. They know all the trends. They got all the stuff. So you just go in there and say, hey, here's my budget. I want to get some earrings, bracelet, necklace, something for my honey. They'll take care of everything. That's why they're so great at the Golden Diamond Source. 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Easy in, easy out. All right, back in 3 with your comments, and we'll have some news from the Valspar Championship as well. Tracy West, their tournament director, scheduled to join us with some breaking news. Who's coming in the field? We'll find out. Stay with us.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if
Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom. You want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're going to have some breaking news coming up from the Valspar Championship in just a little bit with Tracy West, tournament director. But first, my man Nick Geddes has to respond to that blasphemy that Corey Long was just spewing over here about Brock Purdy.
You know, I'm just so over the Brock Purdy detractors out there. I'm so over it because he's not your favorite quarterback. He's not visually appealing to the eye. To you know what he is, JP? He's the people's winner. Quarterback.
That's right.
And I don't think Baker Mayfield is better than him. I don't think that's a hot take. But you know what? Him and Baker have a lot in common because they are not what the standard NFL quarterback looks like, and they both have gone on to have success. Brock Purdy looks like he dresses at Kohl's, okay?
That's right.
And by the way, I'm okay with that.
There's nothing wrong with Kohl's.
There's nothing wrong with Kohl's. I shop at Kohl's. Hell, this I'm wearing this right now. I got this from Sam's.
I
Sam's Club
got reward
for
points like Kirk Cousins at Kohl's.
Exactly. There ain't no shame at all shopping at Kohl's. That's what Brock Purdy looks like. He doesn't have the liveliest arm. He doesn't have the physical attributes. But you know what he does have?
Not dating Taylor Swift.
But you know what he does have, JP? He's got a 21-5 record as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Should be 21-4, by the way, because he freaking injured his arm like on the second drive of the championship game, so that shouldn't count as a loss, in my opinion, for his record. So you know what? Screw it. He's 21-4. He makes more high-level throws than anybody else in the league. The tape shows that. Sorry that you just want to get caught up in narratives, but the tape shows he makes high-level throws, very difficult ones. He pushes the ball down the field, actually more than anybody in the entire National Football League, including all your favorite quarterbacks. But I have to hear on and on and on about, well, any quarterback in the league can go there and do the same thing. You don't know that. Football is not that simple, and everybody always loves to say, well, if you put Justin Herbert in his situation, they would win the Super Bowl every year. I don't want to hear about Schmerbert, okay?
You don't know that?
That dude was a top 5 pick. He's 30-32 as a starter, and we propped this guy up. We paid him $60 million like he's so gold. What, because he could throw a football 80 yards? Nonsense. Brock Purdy is a very, very good quarterback in the National Football League, and you know what? I was going to pick the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I was. But you know what? Corey Long has changed my mind. I am riding with the people's quarterback, okay? The people's quarterback.
I love it.
His name is Brock freaking Purdy.
I love it. The pride of Iowa State, baby.
The pride of Iowa State, baby.
Go
Rocco Beck's the next one in line.
That's right. Damn right. Yeah, listen, we're going to be talking golf here, so might as well get the Super Bowl picks out there now. It's hard not to pick Patrick Mahomes. It's so hard, but I just can't I can't do it. I just can't do it. My gut just will not allow me to do it. I'm in the John Lynch camp. I'm rooting for Brock Purdy. I'm rooting for the 49ers. I'm sorry. I just can't take any more of the Mr. Pfizer and Taylor and Pat Mahomes and State Farm and all the freaking commercials. I'm done. I'm just done with it. I'm over it. And I'm going to be, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys to put money on the 49ers. I can't tell you to do that. I'm doing prop bets and I'm going under on almost everything for guys, because in terms of rushing yards, receiving yards, I think it's going to be a defensive game. That's where all my money's going. But I'll be rooting for Purdy, the people's champion. I love that. I absolutely love it. All right, quick break. When we come back, Tracy West going to join us from the Valspar Championship Tournament Director. We've got some field announcements and a whole bunch of fun stuff that's coming up. So we will talk some golf with Tracy when we come back. Stay with us. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Is getting a home equity line a good idea right now with rates so high? Well, I put that question to my good friend Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services, and he says it all depends on where you're at financially. Many of us with ridiculous inflation have been charging up those credit cards, right? At 29% interest, hoping to catch up, but that ain't happening. Those interest payments are killing you. So yes, a consolidation loan and tapping into that crazy equity in your house is a great idea. That strategy can drop your monthly nut by thousands of dollars and stop wasting money on those interest payments. Fitz, the mortgage guy, has done thousands of loans for the past 25 years in Tampa Bay. Just did one for a former colleague who was a manager for a big bank mortgage division. He knows Scott is an independent broker and can get him a way better deal than at his own big bank. AMS Tampa has way lower overhead and gives you the savings. So if you're worried about fees and closing costs, have the free consultation with Scott and look at the actual numbers. It may shock you what he can do. Be smart. Stay one step ahead. Email Fitz at scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa, or call 813-294-7595. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386-722. American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Peterson Show. We love golf. We always talk golf here, and we love the Valspar Championship, our hometown PGA Tour event, and the tournament director of said event joins us now, the great Tracy West. And Tracy, good morning to you, and congratulations on being named best of the best in the PGA Tour for Fans First, being the great Fans First event that you guys are. How are you? Congratulations.
I am doing very well, JP. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, we'll take those congratulations. Basically, the PGA Tour has winter meetings like all the other professional sports have annual meetings, and they give out about 8-9 different awards. But the one you really want to win is the Fan First PGA Tour tournament, and we were luckily the recipient of that in December. So we're very proud of it.
Well, that just further solidifies what we already knew, that you guys do a great job bringing in the crowds. It's not just about golf; it's about so much more. Especially the Saturday night concert, Cole Swindell this year. You've had the great Toby Keith, who tragically just passed recently, but it's about making memories, and made a lot of memories with Toby Keith, Rascal Flatts. Who else have we had? Just who's who of country music there. Pretty cool stuff. Darius Rucker.
Darius Rucker last year. We've had Brad Paisley. We've had the Van Perry. So Jake Owen. So yeah, we've had some great acts, and to have Cole Swindell follow up Darius, we're really excited about that, and people are excited. So if they buy a Saturday tournament ticket, they get to go to that concert for free, and it happens right after play on Saturday.
One of the great perks at the Valspar. All right, do we have any updates on the field today?
What? Well, we might have a really fun thing to share with you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Do we have a drum roll?
Yes.
Okay.
High tech here. Yes.
Here we go. Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth. Awesome. He's one of the go ahead.
Yeah, won in 2015. So our 2015 champion, and really, truly a fan favorite here. Tampa Bay, when he won, and, early in his career here, we kind of adopted him as one of our most favorite players here on the PGA Tour, and he's very consistent in trying to play us almost every year, and so he's coming back. So that's our big announcement for today, and he's joining some other great guys that we're really fortunate to have some really nice early commitments. We've had Patrick Cantlay has committed. It's the first time he's played us since 2017. Yes. Cam Young committed a couple weeks ago. He's first time he's playing us. Xander Schauffele. Xander has only played us a couple times in the last X number of years. Get that? X number of years. And
I like
so
it.
there's some of the early commits, including Sam Burns, two-time champion. Certainly Taylor Moore coming back as our defending champ. Tommy Fleetwood. List keeps building, JP. We're actually really excited, and we've got another 5 weeks to go, and I've got a ton of other really good verbals and strong indications that other guys are going to be playing. So if this happens, we're going to have one of our strongest fields in quite some time. Sans Tiger, obviously. People get excited about that, but we're really excited.
Well, Tiger is playing a little bit here and there.
He will be playing next week at the Genesis.
That's right. I heard that.
I would not hold your breath for here.
Okay. All right. Just chatting. You never know. It's close by. He doesn't live far away. No, but this is going to be another tremendous field. And I know we got a lot of new venues, hospitality venues. You guys add stuff each and every year. So tell me a little bit about some of the new things you got cooking.
Yeah, we do. We actually have two new shared hospitality venues. So the first one is called the Dex Deck, and it is out by our 11th green. We used to have two hospitality facilities there, private hospitality facilities. We're not going to do those, and we're going to make it a shared hospitality so people can buy a ticket. It's a $250 ticket, $225 or $250 depending upon the day, and includes open bar, all you can drink, and then food for purchase. Great views of the 11th green as well as the 12th tee, and it's going to be a really fun, cool build. Nice. And then we have our most premium ticket that we've ever tried to do. So we're fortunate that the Packard's restaurant, as part of the Copperhead Clubhouse, is being completely renovated. So we're going to take that venue over on Friday and Saturday, and it's going to be an ultra premium ticket. So it's a 2-day ticket that will have access to that clubhouse, breakfast, omelet stations, ton of great food, raw bar, whole ball of wax, open bar, cigars, jewelry cleaning. We'll clean your sunglasses. And then you also have seating on our new upper level double decker skyboxes on 18. So really nice premium ticket for someone that, valet parking right in that, the parking lot right in front of the clubhouse. If you want to treat yourself, it's a really great opportunity to experience the tournament in the best premium way that we've ever done.
That sounds like ladies out there, and we have plenty of ladies who listen, Tracy. So if you're looking for something to buy your honey for Valentine's Day, I think that
absolutely.
They would.
called the yeah, exactly. Big day. It's called the Copperhead Club, presented by Lexus.
I love it.
And there'll be gifts and lots of good stuff.
All right. So now where can everybody get tickets? ValsparChampionship.com, correct?
Correct. Yep. So you can buy all our different types of tickets online. Everything from, our basic grounds tickets all the way up to some of these hospitality tickets that we've just talked about. And then, JP, reminder, kids 15 and under are free. So it's a great family activity,
awesome.
Affordable family activity to come out and do. And then we have military. So active duty or military retired get 2 complimentary tickets each day. And then veterans get a discount on a couple of tickets each day. And they get to go to our Patriots Outpost presented by Pinch a Penny, which is on our 4th green. And we give them comp beer and soda and water, and as well as Chick-fil-A and pizza, lots of good stuff.
Fantastic. So for veterans, active duty, get everything can be found at ValsparChampionship.com. Take advantage of all those great opportunities. Hey, real quick, Tracy, before I let you go, because you're tied into so many tournaments in the business of the PGA Tour, is there anything you can tell us about the new investment group that's coming in to help the PGA Tour vis-a-vis Live Golf? And can we is there any piece being made in this deal? What's happening on tour?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically the PGA Tour is creating a commercial side of their business called PGA Tour Enterprises. And that's what these new venture capital investment guys are buying into. And I know some of them. They're great guys. John Henry and Tom Werner, Robert Kraft. From my time that I spent in Boston, I actually did know these guys. So we're really excited about what that investment can mean into golf and into the ecosystem of golf. So really creating lots of new technology and things that will enhance tour tournaments, but also just in the golf atmosphere. Things like, had Topgolf not been invented, they would have probably started a Topgolf, those sorts of things. And then, so that's good. And so it's great for the tour perspective and for the players, obviously, because they're going to benefit financially from this. So it's a good thing. The PIF and live stuff with Saudi Arabia, obviously that's still being worked on and needs to be worked out. So we're cautiously optimistic that in the next couple of months, some sort of partnership will be figured out. And where it goes from there and what happens to the live players, all that still to be determined. But we're hopeful that something will work out because a unified game would be nice.
Yes, that's what we want. That's what we need. That's I miss that. I miss having the best guys on tour, tuning in every Saturday and Sunday, or going out to the Valspar and seeing everybody together. It's bad for golf what we're doing right now. So hopefully we can get it all together. Well, Tracy, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for thinking of us to get the Jordan Spieth announcement out there. Fantastic. So many fans will love to see him out there. He's so interactive with the fans. He's one of the best. So glad that he's joining the field. And thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate it.
JP.
All right.
Have a great
weekend.
weekend.
See you soon. Yeah, you too. Great Tracy West there. ValsparChampionship.com. Get all those tickets. All right. Before we go, I wanted to hit the Rays a little bit with you, Nick, after the signing of or the extensions for Neander and Cash. Still haven't seen the money on the Cash deal, which I think is interesting. See how Stu came off the wallet to keep his manager. But we heard from the commissioner yesterday that he didn't want to comment on the Wander Franco thing, which was interesting. Kind of tells me things are very much up in the air. They don't know what's happening. So if they were going to bring the hammer down on him, I think he might have said something. So who knows? Maybe we may see Wander in a uniform, and all this will get
I'm not.
Straightened out.
I'm certainly not banking on it. And
No, I wouldn't bank on it either. But I just thought it was interesting that he didn't, hammer him. So who knows?
He never really gives many comments when it comes to the Rays. Even in our fight for a stadium and stuff like that, it's all about Oakland. And I get it because the Oakland situation is crazy. Where the Las Vegas mayor, did you see that?
Yeah, hey, you better go back to Vegas and get a stadium, or go back to Oakland and get a stadium.
Right. I'm like, oof. I mean, that situation is a lot more, I think a little bit more than trying to find the right word than the Rays situation, clearly.
Yeah. But it's kind of weird because he also kind of said, they need to get that together in St. Petersburg too. He's never really said anything definitive about this, quote, new St. Pete plan. He's never said anything, positive or negative about it, to be honest with you. Just like, hey, they need to get it done. They need to get it, get it voted on. So, and that's coming up in April. I'm still a little dubious what if that's going to happen. So we'll see. Those shovels are in the ground, right? I'm not gonna believe anything. I've been to too many press conferences when it comes to the stadium. So we'll see. All right. Great job, Nick. To you, our thanks to Corey Long, who joined us today, and also Lee DeCamper from JoeBucksFan.com. Appreciate both of you guys. If you missed anything, you can always check it out as a podcast, this show, each and every day on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. You can always go back and watch it on YouTube as well. Please like and subscribe to the JP Peterson Show and on fanstreamsports.com. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy your Super Bowl. We'll be back on Monday. I believe Michael Lombardi is going to join us on Monday to go over the Super Bowl. So Nick will be here as well, and hopefully we're talking about a Brock Purdy coronation. Let's hope so. Enjoy your Super Bowl. Talk to you on Monday.